Hi. For my fieldwork journal number 2, I decided to go golfing. I learned how to golf in Elkhorn Acres, Stanton, Nebraska with my dad. How is this journal different from fieldwork journal number 1? I definitely enjoyed this fieldwork journal a lot more. I felt way more comfortable taking notes and observing and participating this time around. It wasn't nearly as awkward to be asking questions or writing things down. And maybe that could be because I was learning from someone I knew closely, like my dad. I was basically having a father-daughter day with him, and I could tell he was very excited to teach someone how to golf. But it was also a lot easier to make connections and analysis from different aspects of the game. I felt a lot more comfortable asking him questions that might have seemed obvious or stupid or just mundane to him. Although it was still pretty awkward and embarrassing while attempting to hit the ball. I messed up a lot compared to my dad, and I lost like 6 balls in the trees and in the grass, but I was a newbie and hopefully I learned to do it more and get better at it. How is this different from sheer participant observation? And I still participated quite a bit because we didn't have any other of my dad's golfing buddies nearby, and other people that we knew of that golfed regularly weren't available. They're all pretty busy. But the golf course was still pretty busy, so although we didn't golf with anybody else, I got to see how my dad and other people interacted with each other, starting up small conversations, being polite to one another, like being quiet so that you don't disturb somebody else's game, or holding back and waiting so that somebody else can go ahead of you so you don't hold them up, staying at the same pace as other people. Oh, just asking questions, just being like generally polite. I don't think I would have noticed that if I didn't like step back a little bit more during those moments, and like instead of participating in those moments, I simply let my dad interact with other people, and I was able to see that they value certain things in their conversations and in the activity. What was something different you learned from interviewing that you might not have learned if you had simply watched? Well, my dad interviews people for part of his job, so I was super embarrassed and insecure about my interviewing skills, but I definitely learned a lot more by doing so. I learned more about the emotional value it has to some people, like using it for stress relief or like to get away from work and other stressors, like maybe family drama in their life. And if I had simply watched, I would have never understood that aspect of the game. I knew that people like use it as a getaway, but I didn't know it had like more emotional connections to it. I also wouldn't have known his personal emotional connections to it, like going right before his wedding with his best buddies just to get, like one last hangout before the wedding, before he was married off. And so that was really cool to understand, like, being able to question and listen to somebody else's more personal stories in regards to their relationship with an activity, knowing why it's more important. If you had simply watched, you'd like I'd understand that he enjoys it. I already knew that, he does it pretty often. But interviewing and asking those deeper questions really hammered in the idea of how important golf is to some people.